Bulabinaka, my name is Litia and I'm from the beautiful island of Laos and I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
My name is Casey, I'm from Tavua. We love Today FM in Tavua. Today FM rocks.
My name is Selena, I'm from Tavenga Vengamba. I love listening to Today FM. Today FM rocks.
Bula, my name is Carlo. I love listening to the music in Today FM, in Malak Island. Today FM rock.
Today's hit music on Today FM.
In the news tonight, 6 confirmed dead post TC Josie flooding. Walk the talk, says Prime Minister Bainimarama. And over 2,000 remain in evacuation centres.
From the studios of FBC Suva, Jackie Smith.
6 people have died and a child remains missing as a result of the mass flooding in the Western Division brought on by Tropical Cyclone Josie. National Disaster Management Office Director Anare Lewiningila has confirmed that the death toll has increased. The latest 2 victims are a 59-year-old grandfather and his grandson that had gone out to look for crabs at Vitongo village in Lautoka on Saturday evening when they were overrun by flash floods. Police were alerted by the family that the 2 had not returned home. While the grandfather's body was recovered on Monday, his 7-year-old grandson remains missing.
Number of fatalities for the event is now at 6. We have 6 confirmed deaths, and we have a young boy that is still missing. Police are still yet to locate his body. We had initially had 5. We were informed by police that they also had received a report of a man and a small boy that went missing also in the week. So that brings up the total to 7. So we can confirm that 6 bodies have recovered, while 1 is still being treated as a missing person.
Prime Minister Vurengem Bainimarama says those affected by the Easter weekend floods need help and not be used for political points. Bainimarama says most of the affected people need food and water in their homes, and that is the priority. Felipe Naikaso reports.
This is not the time for cheap political point scoring, but rather one where people need to unite to help those affected by the Easter weekend floods.
To cook a pot of dal and take it out to the people in the rural areas that were affected by the flood. That's what these people need. They don't want talk, they want action.
Bainimarama paying tribute to those such as these volunteer groups providing assistance.
We should be glad of the assistance that have been given by volunteer groups such as this from the rescue center in Wayabi. They've come in to provide us additional help in packing foodstuff for those that were affected by the flood in the last couple of days.
He also spoke to a few people who were affected by the recent flood and reassured them that help was on its way.
Most of the homes that we've been to don't have anything else in the home. There's no cooking utensils, there's no food. So we're targeting them with the provision of foodstuff and of course water. If you want to come in and assist, please bring in cooked food.
Bainimarama will continue his West tour tomorrow in Ba. Felipe Naikaso, FBC News.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Vurengem Bainimarama resumed his visit to the flood-affected areas in the Western Division today. He was accompanied by Tourism Minister Fayaz Koya and a team of government officials to assess the damages caused by Category 1 Storm Josie. Akosita Thale reports.
Picking up the pieces after the devastation caused by TC Josie, these residents have had sleepless nights since Saturday as their homes and belongings were ruined by flood waters. Residents in flood-affected areas in Singatoka, Nawaka and Sambeto Inandi met with the Prime Minister to raise their concerns and request for assistance.
We need some mattresses for the family, especially those who are really affected, and some tarpaulin, some clothes.
The government's priority now is to provide the basic needs and restore essential services in these areas. Many residents say the recent flood was one of the worst experienced in recent years.
We were very shocked on Sunday morning. We couldn't believe that the water would come through our house. Every year there was flooding in the village, but our house was never flooded. The Sunday morning, we experienced a different thing. Water came through our kitchen and our bedroom.
The Prime Minister assured these affected residents the government will ensure they are assisted. Many residents have already received their first batch of food rations. Meanwhile, clearing of debris now makes way for the deployment of public health teams from the Health Ministry to conduct health assessments of evacuation centers and affected communities. Akusita Talei, FBC News.
We now join our West reporter Felipe Naikaso, who continued visiting flood-affected areas today. Felipe, you in Lautoka and Nandi today. How are people recovering from the floods?
Yes, Jackie, I was in Nawaka village earlier today and also in Lovu, just outside Lautoka city. And I still notice that families are still cleaning up their houses. They're trying to assess the damage caused by the floods. Also, one thing that I've noticed is the past few days here in the Western Division, there's been a lot of sunshine, which has helped majority of families as they've managed to sun out their beddings, the household items and things that they need to be sunned out. And this has been, which the sun has been out for a while, which has helped them so much. Also, food and water is a major need for these parts of the area here in Lautoka, Nandi and Ba. Also, power and water is still out in most parts of the division. Also, one thing I've noticed is how some Fijians, even though they have been affected by the recent floods, they have managed to clean up their houses and they have assisted other Fijians that have needed assistance. And this, Jackie, just shows how much people care about others, even though they have been hit badly with the floods. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Felipe. Evacuation centers and evacuees have doubled overnight after authorities were able to get to areas previously inaccessible in the Western Division ravaged by the floodwaters. There are now 40 evacuation centers with more than 2,200 evacuees displaced. Maggie Boyle reports.
It's a cruel reality as many Fijians affected by the mass flooding over the long weekend have yet to make their way home.
It has increased to 40 from our early estimate of 21. And we have currently 2,278 evacuees. So that is the people that are currently in the evacuation center. One of the things that we noted is that as we are able to access a lot of the areas that were not inaccessible earlier, we have noted that some communities have activated evacuation centers.
For these evacuees in Lautoka housed at Lovu Sangam Primary School, the trauma is still fresh in their minds.
The water swept through the house and we had nowhere to go and nowhere to sleep. All we are waiting for now is government assistance.
The recent flood that we've experienced is one of the worst ever. Luckily, none of our family members lost their lives.
Newiningila notes they're working around the clock to get the evacuees home.
We had 2 left. I think right now we have around an additional 10 that have requested. But we have worked with the evacuees in ensuring that we support them in the cleaning of their various homes to ensure that they move back to their homes. In the event they will not be able to move to their homes, government is working on alternative options.
The cost of damage from TC Josie is expected to be revealed by the end of the week. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
Villagers in Kandavo have begun cleaning their homes and farms as they also felt the brunt of TC Josie over the weekend. Nassau villager Mitieli Mbulunauda says strong winds and heavy rains affected their crops, which included plant cassava, dalo and vegetables. Mbulunauda says they have uprooted damaged crops before it goes bad.
Some of the Yankwana farms were severely affected by the strong winds during the weekend. We have started to cut some of the Yankwana branches to ensure it can grow again. We are also continuing with our community work with cleaning up in the village.
Still to come, over 600 drivers booked for speeding and young leaders receive anti-corruption lessons. Stay with us.
Bula, kera mai singatoka, kera ndo tali taka na varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Recomendação protocolo untuk tali tak na radio festival kena dombi.
Yang kuyazo silil tali, nagurara may nawamanyi, nandunga. Gitu tali tagi yang gitu beneswale menguntur rongo. Barong na radio festival nandunga biti.
Na radio festival nandunga biti na bonga ni BNN.
The Fiji National Provident Fund officials began inspecting areas in Ba today. FNPF members living in flood-affected areas in the Western Division will be able to access up to $1,000 under the Natural Disaster Withdrawal Scheme, and this assistance will be deducted from the members' general account eligibility. Natural disaster forms will be distributed by FNPF inspectors. These forms will not be issued from any FNPF office or agency. Koroi says the priority focus for FNPF is to provide assistance to those people who genuinely need assistance in worst affected areas like Ba.
If family members who reside in other urban centers and want to assist with the rebuilding of the house, they can come through the normal application for housing assistance for repairs.
Over 650 drivers were booked for speeding by the police over the Easter long weekend. This was confirmed by Director Traffic SSP Mahesh Mishra, who says apart from this, 68 were booked for careless driving. Ali Kimbia reports.
In the span of 4 days, the police officers part of the Easter operations issued over 1,000 traffic infringement notices.
And for 4 days, 1,074 cases, it appears that our drivers still taking chance of breaking the road rules, also taking the risk of their life and innocent people's life.
22 drivers were booked for drink and driving, and Mishra says this is a major concern for the force.
Despite adverse weather conditions, despite wet road, still there were drivers who were taking chance of breaking the road rules, also committing serious traffic offences.
Meanwhile, to deter the drivers from committing such an offence, the force will increase its visibility on the roads. Some police officers today received training of how to use their new motorbikes.
Increase their knowledge, also how the duty of care as far as motorbike is concerned, and definitely it is a big benefit for the Fiji Police Force.
So we are not only committed to the product being on the road, we are committed to its safe driving of these motorcycles.
The force will continue their operations on our roads and at the same time create more awareness for our drivers to follow road rules. Ali Kimbia, FBC News.
Students need to become well-versed with ethical values before they join the workforce, especially when it comes to corruption-related matters. This was emphasized to students of 10 schools in the Central Division who are part of the Young Leaders Seminar in Lami today, organized by the Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption. Kelly Vadala reports.
Corruption can affect the most vulnerable people, and keeping that in mind, the Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption has set a platform for these students so that they can learn to make a difference in the society.
When these students join the workforce or when they join the universities, they're able to make sound decisions which are ethically correct. And why we're doing this, at the end of the day, it sometimes becomes hard when you go to the workforce, when you go to the public sector where jurisdiction lies.
With the changing in times that we have today, it's important that we continue to stress to students the importance of moral values, ethical leadership, and integrity leadership as well.
The students agree that this seminar will improve their leadership roles.
Has taught us to be true, to be steadfast with our principles regardless of the situations that we're in.
Having such workshops gives us the clear idea of what actually is happening in the country.
Once we have greed, there's a chance of committing corruption.
Having workshops like this could really help leaders in individual schools to uphold their standards in leading.
How to make the proper decisions in various circumstances.
Corruption is one of the most serious issues in many countries. About 20 students and 10 teachers from the Central Division were part of the Young Leaders Seminar to simply understand and see how best they can deal with corruption. Kelly Vadala, FBC News.
An 18-year-old woman allegedly raped by a taxi driver 2 years ago today denied in the High Court that the two were more than just friends. 35-year-old Rajneesh Kumar is charged with 1 count of rape. Pranita Prakash reports the alleged incident happened in September 2016 when the victim was a Year 10 student.
The trial entered its second day today, where the 18-year-old victim denied running away from her parents to meet Kumar on the day of the alleged incident. She said she wanted to go home early and did not wait for her parents as instructed by her father. She left her parents' business in Suva and was picked up by the accused from a fuel station in Flagstaff. She testified that at times she did disobey her parents. The High Court judge asked her whether she was aware that Kumar had a family. She informed the court that her father had told her that he was married. However, she said that Kumar had told her that he was single. She also admitted that she chose to believe Kumar over her father. She also testified that she never felt the accused saw her more than just friends. The woman said that on the day of the alleged incident, instead of dropping her home in Vatuanga, Kumar took her to Suva Point where the alleged incident happened. The trial will continue tomorrow. Pranita Prakash, FBC News.
In sports later with Jamie, marathon runners hit the trail, but we now join Rachel with the latest in business.
Thanks, Jackie. Good evening and coming up in business tonight. Tourism numbers do well for hoteliers. And in Growing Fiji, new learning environment for Senganga preschoolers. Stay with us.
Moala rarara ranalika o tikongona taunu singatoka ando talitaka na wakaronga ng Bull FM nambandua na sere.
Ya dora subuli kurnambili. Iborani batukara hambara binaranga. Do talitakinal na wakaronga ng Bull FM nambandua na sere. Bula!
Bula FM nambandua na sere.
In business tonight, tourist arrivals to Fiji has increased drastically, and this is a healthy sign for the industry. Fiji Hotel and Tourism Association President Dixon Sito says the arrivals have increased from China, Australia, New Zealand and the United States of America. Arrival in February increased by 5% when compared to the same period last year. Sito says tourism stakeholders are working closely to better the industry.
The 12-month stats to February of 2018 shows an arrival of 845,000, right? About 845,000. For the 12 months to February of 2017, it shows a figure of 799. So there's an increase of about 46,000 in 1 year.
And we now join Sean from HFC Bank with the latest from the trading world.
Thank you. U.S. currency stabilized after a recent decline as risk appetite improved and Wall Street's main indexes advanced. Outlook for the U.S. dollar, however, remains murky due to global trade tensions. Closer to home, the Reserve Bank of Australia kept its official interest rates on hold at 1.5%. Their GDP growth is now expected to be around 2.4% rather than the 3% noted earlier. The volatility caused by the new U.S. trade policies and tighter credit globally has created mounting concerns for the Reserve Bank of Australia. Coming out tomorrow is Australia's February trade balance, so let's see what impact it will have on our Fiji dollar. And that's all for now. Vinaka.
Thanks for the update, Sharon. Looking at today's currency exchange rate set this morning for the Fijian dollar. The Fiji dollar remained on the rise against most of the currencies we cover, except it dipped slightly against our major trading partners, Australia and New Zealand. As for the commodities market, oil prices rose to close at $63.36 per barrel. Gold dropped over $8 to close at $1,332 an ounce, and silver followed suit, closing at $16.41 an ounce. And in Growing Fiji tonight, preschoolers of Senganga Primary School are now enjoying their much improved learning environment following the opening of their new classroom. It is one of the 2 projects that Prime Minister Voreqe Bainimarama had committed to assist during his visit to Vanuatu last year. Eleanor Thurangaview reports.
After about 13 months of construction, this new classroom for kindergarten students of Senganga Primary School is ready for these preschoolers who wasted no time in trying out the new desks and chairs.
60 preschool students will be now accommodated within this new school kindergarten block, which is of a great use to the entire Senganga community.
The construction of the building block was made possible through a collaboration between the school, which raised $60,000 for the project, and the Prime Minister's office, which committed about $50,000 for the building materials.
This assistance, ladies and gentlemen, indicates government commitment towards the education sector. We must all note that expanding access and improving the quality of our children's education is one of government's top priorities.
The new classroom has been a 2-year dream of the school management and the nearby community to better accommodate its preschoolers.
Unity of purpose has prevailed, that we have been able to work with the Ministry of Education, Prime Minister's office, other stakeholders, sponsors, parents, and of course community at large, and being able to complete the kindergarten for our children.
Meanwhile, Commissioner Northern Chavesa were there also commissioned the Natua Women's Group Kitchen Project. Through a $47,000 assistance, the Prime Minister's office funded the building of the kitchen room and the purchase of electrical appliances, tables, chairs and a fridge. Eleanor Turangaviu, FBC News.
And that's it from Business this evening. Here's Jamie with the latest in sports.
Thank you, Rachel, and good evening in sports tonight. An update from the Fiji Sevens team in Hong Kong. And Parahi named the Aussie men's sevens captain for Commonwealth. This and more after the break.
मैं प्रेमिला वायरुकू रेकी रेकी से सुबह मेरी आँख खुलती है तो मैं मिर्ची एफएम सुनती हूँ। मिर्ची एफएम इज नंबर 1। इट्स सो हॉट।
हम लोग बार टाउन के कैरियर ड्राइवर लोगों ने हम लोग के मिर्ची एफएम सुनो अच्छा लगे। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट।
हाय, मैं संध्या नारिया रेफरी से मेरे सारे दोस्त मिर्ची एफएम सुनते हैं। मिर्ची एफएम इज हॉट। आई लव मिर्ची एफएम।
हमें स्पिन टकता हुआ कि मिर्ची एफएम में सबसे अच्छा गाना बजे।
मिर्ची एफएम इट्स हॉट।
A reinforced Fiji Sevens forward pack is expected to improve ball retention at kickoffs in Hong Kong this weekend. As the side chases a 4th consecutive title, coach Gareth Baber seems pleased so far with the response from his extended squad. Meli Tavanga has more.
Fiji Sevens coach Gareth Baber has cited a few areas in need of improvement in order to provide tough encounter.
We'll keep as much pressure on the opposition as possible and work on some set-piece stuff as well, particularly looking at our restarts, which you know are going to be vital this weekend.
Meanwhile, forward Chasa Vermalu has recovered and has joined the players in training.
Played with several different combinations. Good to see Chasa on the field as well. He's recovering from his knee. Semi took a big part in the proceedings and did well. Good to see him right back into the sevens mode.
Baber says they are working on maintaining the ball after their kickoff, which was one of the problems they faced in past tournaments.
It's good combinations, different threats for us to kick off to, which is what we want all the time, from Sevu to Semi to Mesu, all boys who are good in the air and winning ball back. And it was good to see us playing with a lot of energy and a lot of confidence.
Barring any upsets, Fiji is likely to meet either USA or Argentina in the Cup quarterfinals. In its first pool match at 12:43 a.m. Saturday, Fiji will battle Samoa and then will meet Russia at 5:54 p.m. before playing New Zealand in its last pool match at 9:45 p.m. Meli Tavanga, FBC Sports.
Veteran forward Jesse Parahi will captain the Australian men's sevens team at the Commonwealth Games. England rugby coach Eddie Jones has praised Fiji-born winger Joe Vakana-Singer for his efforts with the London Irish club this season. Fiji weightlifter Pauline Vai says the tattoos on her arms are a constant reminder of the struggle and sacrifice she has made to excel in weightlifting. The 27-year-old says her tattoos that read Sanganisoro and Naurawata, meaning never give up and I can do it, provide inspiration when she feels herself losing hope. Taking out the Commonwealth Championship in Australia last year, Vai is ranked #1 heading into the Games and will be Fiji's flag bearer at tonight's Commonwealth Games opening ceremony. 49 runners from across the globe started the Lost Island Ultramarathon from the hills of Yangara in the province of Ra this morning. The unfavorable weather conditions over the past few days has not discouraged these athletes, who will run through the rugged terrain of Viti Levu to their final destination in Singatoka. Eroni Tuinuku reports.
Fijian competitor Eroni Takape believes 5 days of running across the interior of Viti Levu will not be a race, but an adventure for the 49 runners.
It will be a very good exploring for them, and they will enjoy it very much.
Crossing the Nakawandra range to reach the first stop at Nambalasere village was an uphill battle for these athletes.
Most of the kilometers you have to climb uphill, and let's see about it.
Another Fijian runner, Pete Romanoa, says running 220 kilometers is not easy, and a positive mindset is a key factor.
The trick is just keep on moving and keep on going.
The cross-country marathon will be a challenge for the participants after the race was delayed for a day, but the finishing date remains. This will mean the runners have to cover extra kilometers for each day. Eroni Tuinuku, FBC Sports.
The long-term plan set by the Suva cricket team is finally paying off, as a number of its cricketers have been selected to the 35-member extended squad to represent Fiji in the International Cricket Council's East Asia Pacific Sub-Regional World T20 qualifier. After an outstanding performance in last week's Easter Championship, the players impressed the national selectors, earning 5 spots in the extended lineup. Team manager Suliasi Naulibo says his players are capable of achieving more in the sport.
We've got a lot of talented players in our team who played for the under-19 team before, and most of them, majority of them has been selected to the Fiji team, and we really support them. And I do hope that they will perform in the tournament in August.
Meanwhile, in international cricket, the Black Caps have won their first home series over England in 34 years after a tense final day's play in the second test in Christchurch. Es Sadi was the hero batsman for the side, scoring a half-century to help secure a draw in a 1-0 series victory, which seemed so unlikely after a horror start to the day. In today's play of the day, Cristiano Ronaldo scored a stunning overhead kick for his second goal to help Real Madrid beat 10-man Juventus 3-0 in the first leg of the Champions League quarter-final this morning. Ronaldo's unbelievable bicycle kick was pure mastery that had the entire stadium on their feet in appreciation. That's it from Sports Tonight. Join Angie later on with weather, and in the world of the weird and the wonderful, meet the baby whisperer. Find out more after the break.
Bula, kera mai Singatoka, kera ndo talita kana varorong na Radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Uti kombinasyon mo tikola ndo talita kana Radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Yang kuya zo silil tale, nagurara may na omanyi, nandunga. Gitu talita gini yang gitu Venezuela, nagudurong varorong na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti.
Na Radio Fiji 1 na Domoy Viti na bonga ni BNN.
In new media, the fallout continues for Facebook over how it handles user data and privacy. US and European lawmakers are calling for Facebook's chief executive to testify, and regulators have opened investigations. And it's weather time now with Angie.
Hello there and welcome to the Weather World. It's the hump day and conditions were quite sunny and warm. But this will change by later tonight as there is more prediction of rain. Taking a look in the west for today, it was partly to mostly cloudy. Rain will occupy majority of the areas tonight. Eastwards from Peck Harbour to Suva, it stayed mostly sunny with isolated showers. And up north, cloudiness was around. Expect heavy downpour tonight. At sea, west to northwest winds gusting up to 35 knots with moderate to rough seas. For the tides, high tide will be at 9:47 p.m. with low tide at 3:46 a.m. Sunrise will be at 6:13. For tomorrow, it's not looking that well as there is showers building up mostly over the northern division. Tomorrow's temps, Savu Savu will be the coolest at 29 degrees. And looking further on to the Jolly Good Friday, it looks like more of an umbrella kind of day. More rain on its way. Keep safe. And that's all from the FBC Weather World. Jackie.
Thanks so much for that, Angie. In Fiji and Pulse tonight, we asked, how many medals do you think Team Fiji can win at the Commonwealth Games?
Definitely they can win for gold, which includes rugby. Rugby, the best team in the world, best sevens team in the world. And looking at the performance, awesome.
I think Fiji is capable of winning 2 gold medals, one from the Fiji sevens team and one from weightlifting.
Fiji can win gold in sevens because they are the best.
I think Fiji can win a gold medal in Fiji sevens team because they are #1 in the world.
In the world of the not-so-weird but wonderful, over the last 12 years, David Deutschman has held and soothed over 1,200 babies at a children's healthcare in Atlanta. Nicknamed the Baby Whisperer, David's nurturing support has become a godsend for parents while they are away at work or caring for children at home. Recapping the main stories, 6 confirmed dead post-TC Josie flooding. Walk the talk, says Prime Minister Bainimarama, and over 2,000 remain in evacuation centres. Now for these stories and others, you can tune in daily to our sister radio station Gold FM. To our poll question this week, we are asking, can the Fiji Sevens team win the Hong Kong title 4 times in a row? Visit our FBC website to answer. Before we go, our shot of the day sent in by Tomasi Doriakula. The beautiful scene was captured from the upper hills of Nandarivatu. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos, on email fbcnews@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. You can also follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC_news or simply #FBC News. That was your FBC News for tonight. From the team and I, stay safe. Good night.
Wrong on the radio Fiji 1 and Domoy Viti.
Ayaw na rin siya. Kombinasyon ko untuk talita na radio Fiji 1 kina Domoy Viti.
Kaya kuyaga sila tali. Nagurarama inaomanyi nandonga gitu talita jadi yang gitu Venezuela nabuntu rongo barongo na radio Fiji 1 nandomoy Viti.
Na radio Fiji 1 nandomoy Viti na bonga ni BNN.